This is the LEGO Spider-Man 3 Epic Battle Spider-Man vs. Sandman set, which releases January 1st with 201 pieces, 3 minifigures, retailing for $25 in the United States. This was sent to me early by LEGO, but all opinions are my own, and I'm so happy that we're finally getting a Spider-Man 3 based LEGO set. We've got one for the other Raimi trilogy movies even as they came out, and we just got a new one for Spider-Man 2, but this is the first time we're getting it on the third movie. The Venom minifigure is pretty awesome. I mean, look, there's no leg printing. They could have done some texturing there, but I guess since Spider-Man doesn't have leg printing, it doesn't look like a big deal. I love the new torso and face print. It's so cool to actually have a minifigure for Venom from Spider-Man 3. Like, that's something I've wanted since I was a kid. The only Spider-Man Raimi movie that they missed. You could see some back torso and printing at the head there. And here's how the Venom minifigure looks with all of those tendrils attached. You got some posability with the tendrils as well, with how that uses the Outrider back neck attachment. You could move them up and down if you'd like. I like the posability there. The Sandman minifigure is pretty incredible. I absolutely love the leg printing and torso printing. Also, the face print is new. The design having some back torso printing and printing at the back of the head as well. Super detailed if you ask me. I guess it's only missing some side leg and arm printing. And Sandman has these very interesting big brick-built hands. Yeah, each of them have 4 fingers, and you can see how those are just clipped on so that you can move them up and down if you'd like. So that's a nice bout of articulation, but there's also some movement with this hand right here at the center, with just how that's attached to that base part over here. It actually looks pretty good for being brick built with so many pieces. The design over here has a little bit less articulation at the base, but we do have that same articulation with the 4 fingers. I tried to make him flick off the camera, but I was unsuccessful. As for that Sandman figure, there's a very elaborate swirl of sand build. I mean, mind you, a piece exists that does this same effect, and it's just one whole piece introduced with Nexonites, and they've used that for a Sandman variant before. But this time, with it being brick built, there's a lot more texture. I like the rotation of colors they have going on there. Interesting use of that 1x2 piece, and you just kind of push these all into place. Adds a nice effect to it if you ask me, even if it doesn't give me too much of the feel of the Sandman character from the movie. The Spider-Man minifigure looks excellent, but this is the same exact one that came in the No Way Home Final Battle set, which is not a bad thing at all. It's a good reprint from a set that's now discontinued from my understanding. And he actually has dual molded legs, unlike the design of Spider-Man in most LEGO Spider-Man sets from nowadays. I guess you could say there's no dual molded printed arms. Got a little bit carried away there. The design having some fantastic printing with that silver lining at the front and on the torso, and you can even see some back head printing with that silver lining and back torso printing. All this came out great. This is the first of 2 LEGO Epic Battle sets, which are introduced in the January 2026 LEGO Marvel line, complete with an exclusive 1x6 print noting the scene and movie it's from. This is something that recaptures these iconic moments from these classic Marvel movies and puts them into LEGO form, both of which have a flat base build that is circular. This one's smaller than the one for the Hulkbuster set. In this depicting the final battle between Sandman, Spider-Man, and Venom, it's kind of weird to have this be so tied to the scene, because I almost feel like the Sandman minifigure feels like a creation from LEGO. It doesn't really look like the big monster that appears in the scene, which would look much bigger in terms of the body of the character, and here they just plop a minifigure in. Which is not to say the minifigure isn't super cool with some extra articulation with those brick-built hands, but it just feels, in a way, inaccurate. Really, I feel like this is more of the idea of the scene. I mean, even down to the city build, where it's just a bunch of different crumbled parts of buildings. It's incredibly cluttered at this base, and while it feels like a lot of this would be flimsy, they're actually on there pretty secure, and there's not like any pieces that fall out. You can get a better look at the build of this set with those minifigures removed. There's 3 different supports of broken buildings at the back there. You can see both of these use this piece, but in 2 different colors. Then we have this piece right here in a nice tan color it doesn't usually appear in. Well, I guess that's more of a nougat. The design of this also having a street lamp and a fire hydrant. I like the use of those broom handles from Harry Potter as a bent street lamp. That's a new piece to me. This action pose piece is used for both spaces up top to put Spider-Man and Venom. That little printed tile can be moved up if you'd like, just by how that is clipped on. And there's also a swirl of sand in the middle, which is where we fit the Sandman figure. And I really don't have much else to say with the build. And the instructions have an advertisement for the other Epic Moment set. So overall, I think this Epic Battle collection that they have going on is promising. This set in particular is just like one of the best recent LEGO Marvel sets in terms of value. At $25, it has a lot going on. The scene feels complete to the point where it feels cluttered because there's so much stuff going there. But this epic final battle in a city where things are getting destroyed, it kind of makes sense in that context. Each minifigure looks fantastic, even if there's some parts where I'm like, okay, I wish that part had printing or this part had printing. I'm still very satisfied with our first Spider-Man 3 build. The only thing that's kind of confusing to me though is this being tied to that Spider-Man 3 scene to a point where it's like having that 1x6 tile as if this is an accurate portrayal of that scene, when to me this really gets the idea of this scene more than this scene one-to-one. But I mean, the setting of the scene being in a city, I can't really tell you, oh, this is exactly how this city scene looked. This is exactly what gets destroyed. So I get them just doing the idea of this scene. With Sandman though, as much as I really like the build for that whole Sandman configuration and the minifigure, part of me does kind of wish we got more of the bulk of that character. Like that recent No Way Home set with Sandman did a better job capturing how he looks from the final battle of Spider-Man 3 than this set. But I'm a minifigure person. I'm like, okay, that's just a dang good minifigure. So with all things considered, yeah, I'd give this a low 8. I really like how this came out in terms of value. And I'm liking the idea of this epic battle collection, even if this doesn't feel like it's one-to-one, as if it's implying that. Subscribe here for more new LEGO Marvel reviews. Thanks again to LEGO for sending this to me. All my opinions are 100% honest. I will not lie to you. Seriously, you liking, commenting, subscribing means so much to me. It helps out the channel, and I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.